Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's November the 21st. This will be our chart lesson for today. It was all up today, and this is a spike in a channel. I've gotten a few questions from time to time about spikes in channels, and basically what a spike in channel is that prices spike up real quickly or spike down real quickly, and then go into a channel. And really, what happens is this is just you know this is too it's too much buying pressure that can't be sustained, but yet the trend is not really going to end. And so what it does, it spikes up, and most healthy trends are about a 45-degree angle. Go study the charts, and I think you'll agree with me that when you get a good trend, it generally is about a 45-degree angle. And it doesn't mean that a trend can't be straight up or straight down, because some people have gotten confused about that. But a good healthy trend, one that's going to last for the day, is generally going to be about a 45-degree angle. And so what happens is prices are just really spiking higher here, and they can't maintain that. And so it finally comes down to a reasonable buying and selling, but yet it's an uptrend, so it just keeps going there. You see, we finally got a break and a move up to a new high, and then we're kind of correcting again there. And you can see a spike down in the channel. That's kind of what this was right here. We spiked down, and then we went into that channel yesterday that was very obvious and very clear. And that's kind of what that is, a spike, and just in the opposite. You can see, I'll just draw the line in case you didn't watch yesterday's video, and you can kind of see that channel coming down. And there it is. It's a very clear channel. We finally overshot it, and then we kind of reversed out of there. And that's a spike down in the channel. And it's not as easy as one to spot as the one up today. Just trying to see if I see another one. I don't really see any. But you'll see these, in both directions, up or down, and that's what this is. So if you hear me talk about a spike in channel, it just the prices spike up, and then they can't continue with the same momentum, but yet the trend continues, and it kind of narrows out to a channel that's more of a 45-degree angle. It's more of a natural, healthy trend here. This is not a healthy trend. Prices can't maintain that forever. It probably go longer than you can last, but so don't try to outlast it, but it won't last forever. And then prices will break out into a normal, more 45-degree type channel, a more healthy type trend. So I hope that makes sense to you, but I get that question a lot. Also, before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. If you're interested, send me your suggestions for any kind of things you want me to talk about in the new premium section. There's probably up, I don't know how many articles we've got in there now, but I'm getting a lot of good feedback on that. Obviously, I can go into more details and concentrate on more specific things in there, and it seems to be a hit with some people, and so that's good. That was the whole idea behind it. But send me your ideas, the things you want me to talk about, so I can keep I've about got all the topics. So I've still got a couple left that I'll touch on that people have asked me about. But if you've got some other ideas, send it to me. I'll put it on the list, and when I get a chance to get to it, I'll do a video on it. And that's the whole idea behind the premium section, so to speak, is to address the things you want me to address in more details, so we can talk about them. And you can. But I've had some really good feedback that by people reading those articles and watching those videos, that things that they've heard me say a million times just never sank in, but when they saw the video, it suddenly the light went off and it clicked, because I was able to spend a little more time on it and maybe go into a little more detail. And that's what I hope to do with that area. So send me your ideas and we'll talk about them. I want to show you one other thing here. I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. Okay, I wanted to show you this. This is another trader sent this to me. I'm assuming he didn't tell me, he didn't give me permission to show it, so I won't say his name or anything. But this is his cumulative profit report for October the 22nd through November 21st. He says, I'm going to read you his email. Hi, Mac. I just completed my first month of real trading using the PATS These halves in parentheses with order flow to refine trade management just a bit. The attached cash equity curve thus represents real net post-commission and fees results, absolutely no sims included, flat days equal didn't trade at all that day. I've just started taking runners, wanted to master the scalp part first, so this is almost all just from scalps. Imagine what the runner's laughing out. All I can say is thanks, Max. And so just wanted to show you that. I haven't done that in a while, but I get notes like this from time to time, and you know, these are the ones that you like to see because the guy's obviously having success, and this is all just scalping using our techniques. So it works. So it's not only me that can do it. There's other people that have learned to do it, you know, through our course and through watching the videos. And to be honest, I'm not sure if this guy even has bought the manual. I'm assuming he has, but maybe he just watched the videos. I don't know. I'll go look later and just to see if he's a manual guy, but I believe I recognize his name, so I'm thinking that he is. And yes, I do. I remember specifically now that this gentleman is a manual purchaser, and so he is, you know, he's learned this stuff by reading the manual, and I'm assuming watching the videos. And I do remember seeing his name from time to time. And congratulations on the great job. And you know, it's not the only one. I've gotten some more like this. And if you want to send me yours, I'll stick it up my video. And if you want me to call your name out, I'll be happy to do that. But let me know. Give me permission to do that. I won't say any names without permission. But great work there. So I thought I'd throw that out there. I think that was really good. And I enjoy getting those kind of emails because usually you only hear from the naysayers and the negative people. And you don't hear nearly enough from the positive ones. And generally I only respond mostly to the negative ones, so I thought I'd put up some positive ones. So I'm gonna start doing that from time to time. If somebody sends it to me, I'll share it with a group if they want me, if they don't mind me doing it. If they, you know, if they don't give me permission, I won't use their name or anything. But congratulations to this guy. He's doing a great job, and he's living proof that, you know, I'm not the only one that can do this. So it's not just me. You know, people can learn this and do it. So it doesn't come without hard work and a lot of study, but it can be done. So let's talk about the trades. I've spent 8 minutes here, you know, chit-chatting about this and that, but I thought it was interesting. There weren't a lot of trades today, but they're all good trades, except for one. I'll talk about this one. This one was a little tricky here. But let's talk about the trades. The first one was right out of the gate, a little, there was a failed second entry. Let me move that. It's kind of hard to see. There's a failed second entry short there, so you might have gone long right there, and if you did, your stop goes down here. So you could have entered here, but then there was a failed second entry short off the low. Notice the new low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short. They failed. It went straight up. So you could have entered either place or both places. You know, what I like to do is I'd like to enter here, and then when it bounces again, I'll add on right there. I do that quite a bit because it just double confirms the trade. It can be tricky if you don't know what you're doing because then, you know, instead of having one loser, you have a double loser. So, you know, be careful. Just because I said I do it doesn't mean that you should go right out there and add on. But when you get a move like this going, and once you realize it's a strong trend, you got to get on where you can get on. Um, So just remember that. But then, so nice, two chances to enter there. Definitely wanted to enter on this one because you got a trap both ways then. Then you get a two-legged pullback to the EMA trend line. Notice how nothing can close below the EMA there. Bounces right off the trend line. Go long right there. Easy scalp. Then you get a second entry long here. It's counting off this new low here. First entry, pullback, second entry. And then you really could almost count this as a second entry right here. But it's getting a little more dangerous going long right there. But we're coming off the trend line. There's been no overshoot or anything. If you were just shooting for a measured move, you know, you're looking at something like that. So you're looking for right in here. And you see once we kind of got there, actually I think most people were doing were looking at that at leg one and this leg two, and you see it got you right in there to that area where all that, let me just put a line across there and you can see that's where we started finding resistance, and I'm assuming that's probably part of the reason because people saw that as a measured leg there. But this is a spiking channel, and this thing can just keep going and going and going. We did get a little overshoot there, and that's a clue to be careful over here that you might get a trap. And notice we just went into that trading range. And this is common. You'll get in this trading range and they'll keep fighting and fighting until they finally break it lower. And they're doing this on purpose. And when I say they, the people that control the market, the people that have the buying power, the power to move the market is they. I don't know specifically who they are, but it's the big guys that have the power to move the market. And their whole plan is to break this lower, and all these shorts, all these people that don't know any better are going to pour in here short, and all the guys that were getting long are going to have their stops hanging out right there, and they're going to exit. So it serves two purposes. It traps in new shorts who have to excuse me, I'm having throat problems again, but it traps in new shorts here that have to exit when prices go higher. And it traps out all the people that were already long thinking the market's going to roll over, and then they got to buy back. So it doubles up the buying, and look how it shoots off again. And you'll see this quite often in a big trend. It'll get to a resistance area, and they'll find strong support, and then they'll run those stops. Those I love these kind of trades because that's what happens. They shoot straight off. Your runners are good, and you can ride that all the way to the close if you want to. So anyway, I'm jumping way ahead of myself. We talked about this trade last. Then we were coming in here a little two-legged pull back to the EMA trend line again. And when you get the EMA and the trend line running congruently like that, or parallel like that, that's a good sign because you got a double whammy there. And notice how that bounces right off. It's a second entry long, easy scalp. They came back and got the runners on just about all of these. I think they did this one too. Yeah, they came back and got the runners. Unless you entered with a limit order there, which, you know, on one like that, I'd say just enter with a stop. Don't take any chances of missing that trade. And then guess what? A second entry long right there. I hesitated whether or not to make this one green because it's a little congestion area. But guess what? Notice we didn't quite get to the trend line yet, and that's the reason why it kept going higher. It wasn't time for it to turn and try to go the other side yet. So it doesn't mean that it can't, but that's just another little clue, and it's a failed second entry short, so it's a little bit of a trap. And you see how it shoots off again. And what happens is you get your weak traders all day long trying to short these highs, and all they're doing is getting trapped. And, you know, don't counter trend these days. You're just wasting your time. These are the ones you got to buy and try to get on. So any runners were safe there. At least they may have come back and got them here, and that's another thing. No, they didn't quite get them there either. They missed it by a tick or two. And that's another thing they're probably trying to do is come back and get those break-even runners. But the big thing here is they're trying to trap shorts in, weak shorts, and trap out the weak longs, the traders that don't understand price action and don't really know what's going on here. And so just remember that. And you might have even thought about entering right here. The problem with entering here is we've had an overshoot now, and we're not back to this side. So it's a little bit early to be entering. If you entered there, it worked. You know, there's a new low here, so there's a first entry pullback and a little bit of a second entry, but look how close it is. And like I said, we just had an overshoot there, so the odds are we're going to work, even if it's going to be sideways. Usually on a strong trend, you don't correct, you just start going, you don't reverse your correction, just starts going sideways. And it finally gets over here and it bounces, so that's a great place to go long. The only thing I would say is there's not a lot of room back up here to this resistance, but you just, normally that trade's going to go, you're going to at least get a scalp out of it. But this was a 4-tick failure here if you entered on a stop. If you entered on a limit order, you didn't have any problems. But notice that if you entered on a stop, your entry is 90.50 and it turned at 91.50. And then it bounces again. Your stops didn't get run, but when it turned down there again, it made right off that line, that's your clue to exit. And you could have still got out of that with a tick or break even really easy, especially when that little doji formed right there. Um, so you had several chances to get out of that with a tick or two, and you better take it when you get it. And just look for another entry because there's a good chance they're trying to trap people and bring it on down here. And same thing here. If you entered here, it was a one tick failure, but you had a chance to get out. Thinking they're probably going to bring it down. And you should have recognized this trading range by the end, and you probably should have recognized this little channel. And that's what it is. It's a little channel. We finally broke out here. We pulled back and tested it. Then we got back in the channel, and we couldn't close out of it, and then it's going higher again. So you really could have entered again right here, but it's dangerous entering right there. But this is where you want to enter on a move like this. Failed breakout here, almost always going to run at least to the other side, and on a trend day like this, probably go even higher. And this is what I would be looking for, is for, if you'd had enough time in the day, this being your first leg up, and then where this failed breakout is being your next leg. And you see we're real close to that, so I wouldn't be surprised if the overnight doesn't reach that and then maybe get some kind of correction. But we'll have to see. You don't want to be trading in that overnight. Don't waste your time with it unless that's the only time you can trade. The price action's still valid during the overnight, but man, it's slower than, it's like watching paint dry. It's not much fun. So, but anyway, that's what I saw. That was through about noontime today, and I'm doing this a little late. I apologize, but most of you know my situation, and so I'm trading. And that's another interesting thing I'll share with you. I've only been trading a few hours a day this week for, for personal reasons that we've talked about, the issue with the death in our family, my wife's side of the family. So things have been a little hard for us around our house the last couple of weeks. But so I've only been coming in, trading a few hours and leaving, and kind of coming and going. And I've had probably one of my best weeks of trading. It's just, just coming in. Sometimes I'm here at 7. A couple of days I've been here around 9, traded till 10:30, 11. One day I came in, traded, really through just prior to lunch to just to maybe, hour or so after lunch. And I've had one of my best weeks ever, and I hadn't even hardly been here at the screen. So, maybe there's something to that because, I've had some people kick that around that say they do better. I've always done better trading in the morning, and most of your movement is usually in the morning. You can see the best movement started here at 8:30 to about 10 o'clock, and then it was kind of dead till right at noontime. But, that's another thing. I get a lot of questions. It picked up again right at noon. You can see that 12:01. I get people say, I always read you don't trade at lunch. Well, it's true that it's dead a lot at lunch, but the price action doesn't lie. And if you understand price action, if you were here at lunch, look what you missed out on, one of the best moves of the day with runners. And so I tell people, just, if you want to take off, if you're trading all day, take off for lunch or whatever. But just because it's 12 noon and a lot of traders leave at noon doesn't mean you want to be gone during that time, because I've seen some of the best moves ever during that time, and I kid you not. And you can see that prices, that was one of them. You could have had runners. And let's just see what you could have made. If you rode that, even just entered 89 and a quarter, and if you just rode it into the close at right around 3 o'clock, 95. So basically 89 to 95. So that's a 6-point move that happened, within a couple of hours there. And, and you got a runners on it. And you would have missed that if you were skipping the noontime lunch hour. So, and you can see really the dead time in this today was from about 10 o'clock right into noon. So you just never know what this market's going to do. And, the only time I say that it's not worth trading is during after hours. Otherwise, from maybe 7 o'clock in the morning Central Standard Time, maybe even a little bit earlier than that, you can see usually the volume picks up around 6:30, somewhere between 6 and 7, and then it's usually pretty good up until around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and really right on through the close in a lot of cases. So Any of that time is a good time to be sitting at your screen and just following the price action, and just, if it's doing this and the EMA's flat, just sit tight and wait on the trap or wait on the price action to tell you, hey, now's time to enter, which was right here. And, the only trade today that was questionable was this one, and it gave you multiple chances to get out. At the very least, you shouldn't have lost more than 5 or 6 ticks there, even if you entered with a stop and exited with your stop on the other side using 2 ticks. You shouldn't have lost more than 5 or 6 ticks there. So otherwise, it was all uphill all day. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back to do it again tomorrow. And hope you had a good trading day. I hope you're having a good week. And we've had some good movement this week. So like I said, I've just been here sparingly, and it's been one of my better weeks. So I hope you can say the same. But remember, send me your ideas for the premium section. Send me your ideas. If you want to send me some of your results, if you had good results and you want me to look at those or just share those, I'd be happy to do that. Send it to me. And it's nice to hear the good stuff along with all the negativity that we get from time to time. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.